Hey everyone, Anthony here. Welcome back to another video update. I figured it would be easier to hop on and actually take a look at this chart right here and do a little bit of a video rather than a update via text. And I'll send this out to your inbox if you're subscribed to the newsletter, of course, on the paid tier there. So if you're interested in some of the trade thought process that I'm actually looking at right now, one of the things that I'm thinking about is BBU. So BBU is a part of the CARNEY stocks that I've written about back in 2025. We actually have this as a long position. We entered into this trade a little while ago, and we're up, I think about like 10 or so percent, maybe 8 or so percent on this stock right now. But I'm becoming more and more interested as we start to bounce and kind of work off this overbought level that we've got to right around this area right here. So you can see on the MACD indicator, we reached levels back when we were up here of pretty extreme overbought, and we needed to work this overbought kind of sentiment downward a little bit on that MACD, and we've done that because not only did we have a little bit of a sell off back to this area right here, we have risen back up once again, and we've retested this resistance zone, but the MACD has been pretty much trading downward ever since. So this sideways action actually has, worked off this overbought sentiment since that was October of 2025. So one of the things that I'm looking at is what is the upside potential of BBU, okay? And I essentially drew out this upside versus downside risk reward from the point where we're at here today. So our maximum downside here is about 16%, but there's some interesting things happening as we get further and further out into the chart. So let's say we do something like this, where we make a retest here, and as we bounce around and go something like this, if we were to reach that maximum downside would actually be a little bit higher up than where we are right now, and where I've actually marked out on the chart here, because these channels would extend further, but also you have the 200-day moving average, which is this blue line, and this would actually flow upward and probably meet this path somewhere around right here if we just bounce around for a little bit of time here. And I think that 200-day moving average is going to act as some serious support, but then you also have like 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of support underneath here, because there are many different points, not only just the 200-day moving average. There would be something up around here. If we broke the 200-day moving average, you have this yellow channel that I've highlighted here. We'll go over that in a sec. But then we also have, the green channel that we were following back in 2025, going upward right here, and where this green channel is actually going to intersect and overlay the yellow wedge pattern. Now, where do I even get the yellow wedge pattern from? So if I just zoom this chart out just a bit, you can see that there's some key levels of support touched right here, multiple times through here, even back in 2025 in February. Then we finally break down lower, and we started to get this other kind of green channel that we've been floating in for quite some time. So we break back into the yellow channel. This green channel almost becomes irrelevant now because we're back in this yellow channel. I just wanted to highlight that on the chart as I kind of go through this here. But there's just so many layers of support somewhere around here that I think the upside potential on here for this to go higher, especially now that we've actually broken outside of that wedge pattern and kind of established that there is a serious level of support above the yellow wedge. I'm thinking that the potential for this stock to go higher in the semi-long, not necessarily like 3 years time span or anything like that, but like in the coming months for sure, I think the potential for this stock to maybe bounce around here for a sec and then clear this resistance point and go somewhere like this is pretty likely, especially if we stay above the wedge as we go into the future here. But one of the things that I'm been talking about with my subscribers is the downside potential in the S&P 500. Now, this BBU stock is actually very much correlated to the S&P 500, and if we get that drop in the S&P 500, that's why I'm starting to wonder, like, what's the maximum downside that I'd be willing to risk on this BBU stock, right? So that's why I'm kind of laying out the max downside. But as we go further along here, this maximum downside becomes more like this. And then the maximum downside would essentially become very little, because if you were trading and establishing that we are now trading back in this yellow support line here, we're actually probably more likely to follow something like this. So a move upward could be like something like this, and then this would be worst case scenario. We go like this, trade down right here, and then we would decide, are we going to break lower or break higher? But it would give you the opportunity to leave during this little trend line right here. And that's why I'm saying, like, I think the downside gets less and less the longer this chart plays out. But I think the upside is also very interesting, because I have a target of 36% on the upside. Now, where the heck did I get that? Well, basically, you could take a measurement tool and measure the last movement upward from where that breakout actually happened to the top here is about 33%, right? So we can see the last break. We had this sideways consolidation pattern like what we're doing right now. Then we got the breakout. That's 33% to the upside. If we calculate roughly 33% to the upside from here, we have a target of it would be 65.52 or something around there. 65.20, 65.52, somewhere around there. That's where I'm getting this max upside here. Now, obviously, I could be a little bit off here because, like I said, that 33% move happened from the breakout point to the max upside and then this consolidation pattern here. So realistically, another way to do it would be something like this, and this would be a 33% upside move right here. But we're trading a little bit under here, so we're speculating that we're going higher. So that's why I've kind of toned down the upside target to something like here. That is about 33% from a little bit lower than where we are right now. So this sideways consolidation, it needs to essentially break upward and follow this yellow projected path that I've been looking at here. But that's kind of my max upside and max downside. Now, other kind of things that I've been looking at in this chart here, and this is also very interesting, is back here you started to trade in a channel on BBU, and we've established that from the lowest support here to the top of this range is 133%. And that is, I'm actually not too sure why this chart isn't actually loading here, but back here, we had the same move, 133% to the upside here. Now, if one of the things that I'm thinking about is continuing to add this position into our long-term portfolio, and we could essentially ride this trend as we move higher and higher. Now, this max point of upside here, this could continue on for a little bit of time, and we've seen periods in time during this stock where we can move 130%. So if we put the next upside target of 133%, that takes us way, way higher than this. So that's why I'm thinking maybe we add this into our long-term portfolio, and I'm still going up here, 133%. That would take us to a target of 96.60. Now, would I hold through all of my shares all the way up to 133%? No, I'd be looking to trim majority of the position right around this max target here, which is about 66.15, 66.20, somewhere around there. I'd be looking to take off the position and maybe ride with like the house's money or something like that as we kind of go along here. But that's what I'm kind of thinking about. And Monday, what we're going to see is what we could essentially run into this yellow line of resistance. And that's when I'm thinking maybe I should pick up a few shares of BBU. So that's the plan for Monday. Now, there's some other opportunities that I'm really, really interested in right now. And I want to go over this in another video, and it's going to take probably this week to figure out but you guys can get a jump ahead on this. SRUUF. This is a uranium fund, and I've essentially done the similar kind of price breakdown. What's the downside? What's the upside here? I think the downside, and this is where I would probably place a stop, is somewhere around 2112 or so, right around there. But I'm looking for a pullback in SRUUF, and I'm looking for a movement back lower, somewhere around here. As you can see on the MACD, we're a little bit overbought. And if we got this pullback down to this support line, which would be 2047, then I'd be looking to add into a position right here. But I was also thinking, you know what, we could potentially break above, and this would, if we did break above, it would actually negate this topping signal that we're getting right here. This is like a topping indicator. That's a candle that would signal that maybe this trade is a little bit overbought right now, and the MACD is definitely confirming that. So if we got this pullback, this would be the place where we'd want to make purchases in the coming weeks or whatever it may be. It could be this week that's coming up. But if we got a break above this candle, this would actually negate the pullback, and this would give us quite a good upside target here. So max upside on this one. This could take us all the way. This is why I think this chart is super interesting. This could take us so we have a 57% target or movement right here. I take that same 57%, bring it upward. That gives us a max target of 32.28. And what's interesting about this particular chart is a number of different things. One, we have this cup and handle kind of chart pattern playing out. But what's also really interesting is we also have a inverse head and shoulders pattern playing out as well. Right here, we got this head and shoulders. That is an extremely bullish signal. That's why I'm thinking, if we start to move up higher, I think it's worth buying a little bit of shares here. But if it starts to break down lower, then I'm going to look for that 2047 point to start to accumulate those shares. I don't think I have ever seen a cup and handle pattern like this like U-shaped pattern also form alongside an inverse head and shoulder pattern. Both of these patterns are extremely bullish, and that's why I think this week I will look to accumulate SRUUF, but I'm also thinking about purchasing some BBU shares, and now you have my exact levels, so when I send out those trade notifications, you guys will be ready to make purchases there, and you can watch the chart yourself as well. So I wanted to make this video update and give you that. I'm going to send this out right now. It's Sunday at 2:45 p.m. I'm going to write this up and send you guys this video so you can see what I'm looking at. But really interesting charts, and I thought it would be useful to break it down on video and actually see the chart right here. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for the new subscribers who have joined Metals and Momentum, and I'll see you in the next one.